All right, Shalom. Reach the He Pray channel. My name is Isaac Mawath. But first and foremost, I want to say call Halayim Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Harakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, 7:13:19, where I learned this truth from and who rule well. Salutations to the Bakiar, the elect, the 144,000. That's 12,000 men from each of the 12 tribes of Israel. The 12 tribes of Israel consist of you so-called blacks, Latinos, and indigenous of America. 144,000 being a governing body within the one-third. The rest of the one-third comprises of elect men, women, and children. Shalom to those Israelites scattered due to the diaspora and also the triangular trade. So all people come looking like different ethnicities, having various complexions. So this is not a black thing. We're not the black Hebrew Israelites. We're just Hebrew Israelites. Shalom to those that died in this truth. It says the dead should be raised up first. Those that will be accompanying Yahweh Shah on his return, including our King, King Mashah, who is King David. And as always, it's an honor and privilege, honor and blessing to continue to do this work. The water Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah Ba'ashem Harakach for answering my prayers and permitting me to do such. Baba Kashah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah Ba'ashem Harakach Wadash allowed us to be an edifying lesson to at least one member of the elect. So this is a extension of sorts about being worldly. You know, and, let me get this scripture real quick because the Most High set it up this way as a battle of sorts, right? And this is a press and bless video. It's not going to be long. Yahweh Sharatazah. But I wanted to get this scripture showing you how Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah operates in duality. And that's the reason why there's a separation between those that are not of this world and those that are. And, you know, the unseen world, you know, makes it known, you know, through certain things, through certain, I'll say, interactions, spirits, vibrations, you know, that basically there's a difference between those spirits that are assigned to be of this world and those spirits that are assigned to be from the world above. This is Ecclesiasticus, or the book of Sirach, chapter 33, verse 14. It says, good is set against evil. So those that are not of this world, that are not worldly, they will be the good, right? That is set against the evil. These masses of people that are of this world, you know, which this world is being led by the spiritual demon Satan. You know, and his counterpart on earth is the so-called white man who started calling himself white in 1681 in Virginia due to the Bacon rebellions. He's not white, he's red. His blood shows forth through his skin. It will make him translucent. And in all actuality, his true identity is the biblical Edomites, which the biblical Edomites obviously are still here today. Right? So it says good is set against evil and life against death. So is the godly against the sinner. So the godly is set against the sinner, man. And that's even the reason why you have certain situations amongst, the brethren within the camps, because not all are of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. You have certain men crept in unawares. You have bad fish. You have wicked niggas amongst, the brethren, you know, causing and stirring mischief and discord, sowing discord, right? And, that is also a battle within itself, the true believers, and those that are not. It says, in the sinner against the godly. So look upon all the works of the Most High, and there are two and two, one against another. So that's how Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai operates. You know, as it says also in the scriptures, he's a man of war. This is St. John chapter 15. I'm going to start at verse 18. It says, disciples' relation to the world. So disciples going, meaning, student, you know, uh, it says, if the world hate you, right? So, the people of this world, you might sense it in the spirit, or even if you're trying to keep to yourself, you see that there's an interest towards you, you know, and that's all spiritual, because those demons on these people, they know who the elect are. They know who, you know, uh, the men of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh are. Hence, the scripture where it says, Paul I know, etc., etc. But who are you? Which that was a demon, right? So the demons on these people, they know who the elect are, man. And that's the reason why you sense the things that you sense. You feel the things that you feel, as far as the vibration that the world is emitting, I'll say. you know and it's the truth. It says, that it hated me before it hated you, but we have comfort in that Yahweh Shai, he went through it first and he persevered. He obtained the victory. It says, if you were of the world will love his own, right? The world will love his own, man. But we're not of the world, so therefore we are loved by the Spirit, the Spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, and his will to comfort us, to give us our daily bread, to give us our clothing, to give us things that we need, and sometimes even things that we want, you know, and even through the Spirit, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai will use certain vessels that are in the world, to help you. You know, it says, if you were of the world will love his own, but because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world. So none of us chose Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. As the scripture says, he chose us, you. Whether you are of the elect or not remains to be seen. Because there's been many individuals that came and went, that fancied themselves as the elect, and they're back in the world already, right? It says, therefore the world hateth you, right? And that's the spirit that Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai put in them, just to fulfill, this word, to fulfill the prophecies, and that's what we have to deal with. That's part of our adversity. That's part of the test. Basically experiencing everything that Yahweh Shah experienced and felt. This is First John chapter 2, verse 15. It says, "Do not love the world." It says, "Love not the world." So we're not to love these people, this world, right? Because it's all going to pass away, man. These people are going to be destroyed. They're going to come back in the kingdom of heaven. Some righteous and some, slaves, right? It says, "Neither the things that are in the world," right? Because when you think about it, everything that you people hold to high regard here in America is going to be destroyed with America, man. So it's basically vain. It's vanity to hold on to such things, that has an expiration date, right? But the kingdom of heaven and its riches and everything that comes with it is eternal. It says, "If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him," right? And that's enmity, that's separation. That's what separates those from being true men of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, or just, imposters, because when you look at it, everything that, a lot of these individuals, fell out over was things of the world, you know, or spirits of the world. It says, "For all that is in the world, the lust," which lust goes into the desires of the flesh, right? Going into, desires, basically. It says, "In the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world." And that's what this world hammers, They want you to become rich. They want you to deal with your problems by becoming rich. That's the whole capitalistic mind state, you know. Also, they want to be entertained. They want to be distracted from, what life truly should be, to be able to live a decadent lifestyle, man. To be able to soothe those certain sensations you get, those that itching you got to scratch. When it deals with pleasing, your desires, your wants, that is contrary to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man, and what He wants for you. It says, "In the world passeth away," so this world is gonna pass away, man. You know, even dealing with this current setup, this Western civilization setup, man. It's all going to pass away. It was just, temporary. The Most High allowed these things to happen to, show Israel who's boss, basically. It says, "In the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of the Most High abideth forever." So the important thing is, to maintain doing the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. And I'm just going to read verse 4. This is James chapter 4, verse 4. It says, "You adulterers and adulteresses," right? Because you basically commit spiritual fornication against Yahweh Bashim Yahushua when you sin, when you have these certain lusts. When you are worldly, you're basically following after other gods that don't exist. It says, "Know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with the Most High? Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of the Most High." So if you're a friend of the world, if you're worldly, then you're an enemy of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. We don't care when he viciously removes you out of the world of the living, man. You know, everyone's been warned. Everybody should be, you know, striving and determined to be the best that they could be in the eyes of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. This is Baruch chapter 4, verse 1. It says, this is the book of the commandments of the Most High, and the law that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life. So that's part of being anti-world, right? But such as leave it, go back into the world, shall die. And that involves also this truth, this doctrine. You know, you leave the doctrine, then you're cooked. Right? Verse 2, it says, turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it. You know, so just like Achilles said, take it. It's yours. Right? It says, walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated. Yeah, and people don't understand that there's a counterpart to the Illuminati of this world, man, which is the Illuminati of the world to come. You know, which starts with Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai and, you know, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and all those that have the same doctrine that, you know, are willing to die for this truth, let alone live, you know. But, you know, I didn't want to make this video too long. It's just a little press and bless. You know, so with that, I'm going to say, hope at least one brother of the elect was edified, and shalom.